All right. Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and jump on in. It's going to be a love tarot story. I know it's a little later than I'm usually on for these ones, but it's been a long day and night. So we start out with an Ace of Cups in the reverse. Not the greatest of way to begin with a love story, right? Because this is somebody whose cup is not filled. This is somebody who is not feeling the love right now. In fact, with a Five of Wands and a Ten of Swords in the reverse, this is unfortunately a message of somebody who feels like there's been this prolonged, painful ending with no closure, no resolution. There's a lot of thought still about this, a lot of painful thoughts about this. I don't know if this is somebody who is feeling the pain themselves from an experience, or they're feeling and remembering the pain that they caused to another person. Hi, everybody. Violet. Hey, hey, darling. Denisa, Lisa's love. So great to see everyone. We've got the Two of Wands. Okay, so this could be both things. Maybe this is somebody who's reliving the hurt and the pain themselves, but there could also be they're asking themselves, I wonder if they ever think of me. I wonder if they ever think of the hurt and the pain that was caused, or I wonder if they felt the same hurt and pain. The Two of Wands is like the question mark of, where does my mind go next? We see dissatisfaction. We see overthinking about a painful ending that never had closure. And then we have our character's mind goes in two different ways. So let me just ask, because I feel like the question here is, I wonder if they ever think of me. I wonder if I cross their minds. Let's go with this deck. And of course, I am hearing the song by, oh gosh, I just blanked out on her name and I love her so much. It'll come back to me if I ever cross your mind. I got to stop trying to find her name or I won't be able to. The Emperor and the Death card. If the question here is, in this case, we'll say, does he ever think of me? Yeah, when he takes off his mask, he thinks of this ending. He thinks a lot about it. She's like a ghost that lives in his mind. When he takes off his mask, he doesn't always, right? We see him removing it here. Sorry, the name is still trying to get into my head and I can't seem to grasp it. We have the Lovers. He remembers when he first met her. That's the ghost that he recalls. He remembers the ending. He remembers her sudden absence, but he also remembers the very first time he met, how that felt. The first time when they chose each other. So his memories are both like her being gone and missing from his life and how it felt the first time he met her. Ace of Coins, God, he wishes for a do-over. If only there could be would you do something different, Emperor? Would you do something different? Ten of Coins. Yeah. He would come home. There's something here about him needing to have shown up and he didn't, or he needed to go home and give his all and he didn't. Why didn't you? The Devil, because something blocked him. Fear blocked him. A person blocked him. A connection blocked him. Lust for shiny things, for money, for whatever it was that blocked him. Literally, we have the Devil standing here saying, you can't go home. You can't go home to her. You can't go give her your all. In the past, he was blocked. What was your blockage, Emperor? The Hierophant. Ooh. And he's missing an eye. Okay, so in the event that this could have been an amazing connection, he was soured on marriage at the time. When he knew her, he had, I'm going to say this is somebody who had been married and divorced, so it's like, somebody jabbed him in the eye. It's like, it's not nice to get poked in the eye, right? So it's just that saying, and it's like, if he got poked in the eye by something that he committed to in the past, he on one hand couldn't see things clearly because he's only got, the monocular vision now. So he couldn't see things 100%, but he also, I think, was pretty soured on love. Now, maybe he was in a rotten connection at that point in time, though, as well, but he was like determined he would stay in the connection he was already in. Therefore, there was no way he was going to build with her. I don't know. I can't quite apply that in this storyline, because what if you were already married? What the heck were you doing kissing her hand? So that doesn't really track for me. And if the option was he could have, gone home and given it his all and really worked on things with her, but he didn't because he was blocked, and his blockage, I think, was fear, or literally like a sour energy, like a belief system that was based out of not seeing things clearly. Maybe he thought there's no way I can be with somebody like her because we're too different. Maybe there was something really, it's very biased. If you only have one eye to see out of, you're missing the entire other half of what's going on, And so I just feel like he was very, very biased is what this is saying. Four of Cups, and he really regrets that now. I don't think he regrets it enough to do anything about it, though, from what we can see, because when he takes off his mask, does he then think of the ending with her. He thinks of maybe she ghosted him at the end, or she had the final say in something. But she is a ghost that haunts him. So to answer her question, I wonder if he ever even thinks of me, because she's still very bothered by this. Okay, let's go back over and ask about her. So what are you bothered by about all this? What is the painful ending in your mind? Six of Wands in the reverse. There was no success here. And what's more, she may have lost some of her own self-confidence. Oh, because she actually still saw them as really wonderful. She saw them as an emperor. And it was like, but they didn't see me as somebody of importance. So really, she's taken something and made it hurt, because she said they were amazing. They were an emperor, but they didn't want me. They didn't see me as amazing. They didn't see me as, their equal. They didn't see me as somebody as valuable. If somebody doesn't see us as valuable as they are, fuck off. I'm sorry. I don't think so. No. We're going to put a stop to her thinking that way right away. Don't ever put yourself beneath anybody else. Nobody's better than you are. Absolutely none of that. No. He wasn't so great, but she wasn't good enough. He was so wonderful and above me, but I didn't measure up. No, I'm not going to let my character sit there and say that about themselves. No. We have a Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is... she's really stuck on a loop right now, and I want so badly to protect this character and give some rude straight talk, because I'm not having any of it. King of Cups, Five of Swords. She's saying that even after all this time, even if somebody else who was wonderful came along, she's pushing other people away. So she's very, very stuck on them, because here's what I would say. She has really been impacted, and maybe she's aware of it over time, because if she met somebody else that was wonderful, but now she pushes away a wonderful person, it's because this is where she lost her confidence. This experience with this person that she thought was her everything, who didn't choose her, that she allowed to really shake her badly. I'm sorry, please remember, these are fictional stories about fictional characters. Of course, I'm invested and I want to protect my characters, because that is how I am. I'm always going to hope for the best for our characters. But this feels so, I don't know, just that's where some of her confidence got shaken. But I think she's come to realize that over time. Prince of Cups, Princess of Wands, Eight of Wands. She's working on changing that. Really, really working on changing that. Even though she still says, I wonder if they ever think of me. She might wonder that, because she's wondering right around this time of the year, are they going to send a message? I mean, I mean, would I want to hear from them? What would I do in response? If there is a thought process here, I do kind of think she's saying if they did still care about me and they did still send me a message, yeah, that would feel amazing. But then I would want them to like really, really, really work hard for me. Really try to tell me a bunch. It's not just one small amount of effort. I would need a lot of communication from them. So she's kind of thinking all of this out, and let me just turn to the universe here for just a minute and say, universe, what's your message to her in this matter? Actually, let's go with this deck. What is your message? Because I'm going to hold my tongue on this one because I have thoughts, but I need to keep them in check. Seven of Pentacles. The universe says, hey, remember you've been doing some good old work on yourself for a long time. And by now you should know that you're the emerald. You should have been mining and finding that you're the diamond, you're the emerald, you're the gem. You got to know that inside yourself. Over this point in time, what have you learned about who you are? And what have you learned about who they are? There's somebody who procrastinated in the past for whatever their reasons were. But you know deep down that you have value, right? You've done that deep dive. And so to ask oneself, what do you know to be true? What do I know about me? I know that I have worth. What do you know about them? I know that instead of calling them the emperor and the amazing one who didn't pick me, call them the person who didn't figure out how to move forward with me. That's a whole different way of saying the exact same thing, but it puts it more in a balanced perspective, right? It doesn't lower them, but it doesn't put them up on a pedestal and make her somehow the one that was not chosen. So I like the diplomacy that the universe used to kind of like, hey now, think about what you've learned over this span of time. You've learned that you really do have a lot of worth and that you were lowering yourself for a period of time and feeling like your confidence was taken. But in fact, you've done that work. You know that nobody can take away your confidence. You have inherent worth and value. And this person couldn't move towards you, or you've learned to look at things from a different perspective. Okay, I think we're going to leave that for a minute and let's go over. And universe, do you have a message for them? Do you have a message for the emperor? Sorry if you hear Aries, he's over there scraping, fluffing. We have the Five of Wands in the reverse. Okay, so the universe is saying if you're clear on something, if you know something, so you're not really obsessing over it because you've gained clarity, then usually a King of Swords is ready to talk. If you're clear on something, if you're clear on what you should have done, could have done, would have done, and you have a regret, what do you do with the regret in life? As long as you're still breathing, you got a chance to fix it. So what are you doing? Are you like gaining the strength and the energy and the power to do the thing that needs to be done, to say the words that you need to say? Because if you're clear on, I mean, everything that this character already said is, when I take off my mask, she's still the ghost that haunts me. When I think about how it was when we first met, what I wish I had done different, that I wish I had just gone home and worked on it with her, that I would give anything to have a do-over, that I was, blocked by fear or blocked by whatever this belief system was that was so faulty. And I so regret that. Darling, those are your words. That's it. You don't have to think any longer. You just got all those words out. That is the entirety of it. What it was, what you regret, what you wish had been different. That's it. Is there anything else to still mull over? Because I think he's got the full scope of the experience. So what does that mean, though? Ace of Wands. Always advocate for the best outcome. Always advocate for what you truly want in life. Because if you don't, nobody else will. Especially as an emperor. Emperors in particular do not have the luxury of knowing what they should do and not doing it. Because if they operate that way, then they can't be an emperor. They're going to get demoted. Same thing, kings and queens. If you know what you should do, but you're not going to, then again, you're going to get demoted. You don't get to be called a king and a queen, an emperor and an empress, unless you're willing to do the hard thing. And the hard thing is usually the stuff that makes us grow the most, right? It's the true thing. It's finding the words that are actual, like the real words. If we're not going to do that, and we're not going to advocate for happiness, and we're not going to go after what we really want in life, then we're still, working on our confidence maybe. So we're still pages and knights. That's just my spin on it. It doesn't mean I'm right, but I think he's at this this point where it's something's got to happen here. And I'm guessing that it's his space that this needs to come from, simply because he was the one who held back. I think that the burden of this is on the person that didn't invest. Let me just ask, though, in truth, let's ask the universe, did she really invest? Was she really like all in? Did she give it what she had? Ooh, she had a ton of hope. She had a ton of, let me put it this way, this hope card doesn't have, a correlation to a tarot deck. So this is more like an energy. And I'm going to say that she probably expressed in very gentle terms everything that she wished for, everything that she wanted in this connection. I don't think it was any mystery at all what she wanted or what she would have been willing to give. But I don't even know if she ever had opportunity to really give, because, hoping that a connection will work, hoping that this emperor will choose her. I almost feel like it started out on this, I hope that he likes me. I hope that he would want me. I hope that might have been an issue, that discrepancy. On one hand, it's a very beautiful, very gentle card, but and I think it's sweet and it's humble to say, well, I hope that this person likes me because I think they're wonderful. But there's a difference between saying that and then saying, oh my God, I'm nothing and they're so wonderful. I hope that they even recognize me. There's different ways that we can still have great self-confidence and be humble and be like, oh, I hope that they like me as much as I like them, versus I hope this amazing person will look at a, little peon like me. And I'm just wondering if it started out a little bit on the wrong footing, as even though we could say that this is beautiful and soft energy, it still might have been part of where the problem was. The Judgment card, and even her hoping that they come back to her. And this is Pan, and Pan is a lusty little god, and he's in Greek mythology. Honestly, there's some unlikable stories about him. Very selfish, particularly in the realm of love and romance and going after what he wants and thinking he can have whoever he wants. And so I don't really love the dynamics in this. She hoped that this person would choose her, and then she hoped that this person would return to her. All of this kind of says, in the past anyway, this has been one of her big things, was to work on her own confidence, because she really is worth so much more than she gave herself credit for. That's what we see for this beautiful character. Now, that's not to call him some villain or say, oh, he's so selfish, but we're just kind of like seeing the different energies here. Universe, how did he show up? 9 of Pentacles. We have a peacock, somebody quite proud, and a 9 of Pentacles is he's single, he does what he wants. Look, there's nothing wrong with being single, being proud of yourself and doing what you want, but that's a real hard energy to date or be in a long-term commitment with, when it's me first, foremost, and always. And by the way, does everyone notice how good I look? Like that's the preening of the peacock. I almost think he really liked the let me get her to look at me, because I know I'm really sexy and she's going to tell me that I'm really sexy when I put up my plumage and I prance about and show off all of my plumage. It feels like this is somebody who kind of did like to play a bit of a, like the mating dance, and and not as straightforward as Rod Stewart and Do You Think I'm Sexy? I love that song, but that's kind of a fun, silly song. But I'm thinking this person was real serious about how awesome they thought they were, and yet needing to be told that they were awesome. They weren't just, I'm self-sufficient and I'm just doing my own thing. In a relationship, they were aloof and they wanted to be wanted, and they really thought that they were. This is a very prideful person. We have the Magician. They came across and believed that they could manifest anything, doors opened for them. It was all about them. They were the focal point in a relationship. Nobody was more powerful than they were. Everything that they were going to do, it was all about their ideas. There's no co-creation here. We could say, well, maybe they were manifesting having a great relationship. No, their great relationship that they would have been manifesting with her would have only been through their vision, which is, I'm going to be so sexy. She's going to want me so bad. And if anything, she's going to make me look even better when she stands next to me, and all eyes will be on me because of how good she makes me look. This could have been quite shallow, unfortunately. But on the other hand, on a positive note, we could say this person had a ton of confidence. Yikes. It's hard with that peacock there. And because a 9 of Pentacles, how are you in a relationship if you're in a 9 of Pentacles energy? That's a single person's energy. That's not a co-creating energy. Okay, so if that's kind of the harsh reality, and I'm sorry, I know this is kind of like, yikes. This is kind of a, like, we're not mincing words in this one, are we? Universe, what's the universe's position on anything for the future for these two? I would not have guessed this, but it says, oh yeah, they can straight up be amazing together. 4 of Wands. If this character has been more or less, this meaning the Emperor, has more or less been sitting there in a state of regret that he messed things up with her, it makes a lot more sense now why he said, why didn't I go home and build with her? Why didn't I go home and give her my all? Why was I a 9 of Pentacles instead of being in the 10 of Pentacles energy? I was crazy about her. He is good at flirting, whoever this is, and he is hot and he is sexy and he is good at flirting. He is older now, maybe wiser. Maybe he's looking at himself and being like, I'm not really sure why I thought the dating game and the flirtation was like where it was at. It's building a life with the person that you're so attracted to. How the hell did I get all that wrong? He's grown for sure. But the things that he knows now, I mean, if he were to apply himself into a connection now, it could be really successful. The way she has grown in valuing herself more, if she were to apply herself in a connection at this point, she would be, expecting much more in return. She would know that she is worth more, and it would be a much more harmonious energy, is what this says. Can I just better understand the Hierophant, though, for them about that blockage? Because I wasn't too sure about whatever that aspect of it was. The 2 of Pentacles. Okay, so and this actually better explains him, because look, I've had a hard time liking this character, to be completely honest. Only because Pan was there, and it was that Pride of the Peacock kind of card with the 9 of Pentacles. Okay, but this makes a little bit more sense to me now. His big blockage and why he didn't actually give more, why he was still in that single person's energy, it was all kind of about him and focused on him. This actually says because at some point in time, he gave a lot to a previous connection and he did not get fair treatment for it. In fact, he got poked in the eye. So somebody treated him like he wasn't much. Maybe they weren't faithful. Maybe he was real, tried and true. And sometimes when you are given everything that you've got to somebody and they don't treat it like it's much of anything, the knee-jerk reaction to that is to say, well, from here on out, I'm going to make sure that I look after my own needs, because I know all too well you can give the sun, the moon, and the stars to somebody and they are going to not value you and it will hurt. So I'm going to make sure that I'm in Nine of Pentacles energy. I'm going to make sure that I didn't value myself enough in the last connection. So now I'm going to value myself a lot. And even when I meet the next person who's wonderful and amazing, and I want them to show me how amazing I am. I want them to want me. I want to be the one that they salivate over because my last person poked me in the eye. So I gave too much before. Now I want to give less this time around and let somebody else show me that I'm really important. The problem with that is you don't really have any business making the next person treat you extra better because the person before them poked you in the eye. It's just not fair. It's not fair. And that, I think, is what he's realized also. The devil, he would not give. He would not open up and give his 10 of Pentacles. And the truth of it is he wasn't ready for any long-term connection back then. That's the truth. But his behavior, especially with his strutting energy and his, I'm so terrific and I can manifest anything, and don't you want me? Don't you think I'm hot? Don't you want my body? That attitude really hit her in wow, he's an emperor, he's so amazing, and I'm not good enough for him. That's how she was made to feel. It's weird how the energies can play upon or prey upon the insecurities or the vulnerabilities or the hurts that already exist. He had a desperate need to be sought after to make up for the person who poked him in the eye, how they left his confidence in shambles. And meanwhile, she came in thinking, wow, this person's amazing. I'm probably not good enough. So she came in with her lack of confidence. In truth, maybe these two had a little bit of a similarity in some of that. I don't know. I still am having a real tough time with this storyline. I don't love it, even though I think it brings up some thought-provoking points. But is there any final message just on her side of things? We go right back to that emperor. Hang on. She still, I don't know. I see this reoccurring thing where I think it's wonderful to, choose an emperor as long as you know that you're matching them. You don't pick somebody that you don't pick anybody if you keep thinking other people are above you. That's just my spin on it. Not saying I'm right. I know nothing other than she wants to call him the emperor, the one, the most amazing one. I guess I have kind of wondered where she get that idea. Is it just because that's what he was emitting? I'm so fabulous. You really want me. And people really want me. You know that? I feel like he was doing that, overcompensating because he actually had been wounded before. But she goes back and still says emperor. But with this 7 of Cups and then the star, this could be her actually saying, wait, why did I imagine that they're my emperor? What did they do to show me that they were an emperor? They put their little peacock feathers out. They manifested solely for themselves. At the very beginning, they might have been very gracious, but then they left me feeling like I wasn't worth much in a very painful ending. So what part of that makes them an emperor? Why would they be my wish fulfillment? See, now that I think is a better question for her to be asking herself. Why did I give them that title? You have to earn that title. An emperor behaves in a certain way. So why would you give them a title that they didn't earn? No fantasies, no fairy tales. Look at things with no goggles on. And I think this kind of says maybe she did start to wonder, how come I said that about them? How come they were the one? How come they were the best thing I ever saw? Why were they my unicorn? Where did I get that idea from? Because if she has a habit of putting people on big pedestals and keeping herself down low, that's going to be a big problem that she's going to probably need to resolve before she can ever have a really great relationship with herself, is what my guess would be. Okay, that's some great reflection. And again, it's not to insult him and say, well, you aren't anything. I don't mean it to sound like that. We're just kind of really looking at the way she was, viewing her own self and herself in regards to them, like, that discrepancy. Okay, and so final message for him. We have a Knight of Pentacles and we have the King of Pentacles. His biggest, slowest lesson has been how to learn how to give, maybe how to give again, because we definitely saw that he must have been pretty wounded in the past, and then he made it all about himself with that Nine of Pentacles and the peacock energy. So his lesson has been to like recalibrate himself so that he can actually understand and use his intuition to say, not everybody that I would meet would only, see me and devalue me and poke me in the eye. I have to be able to tell the difference. I should be giving to kind people that actually want, people that I'm attracted to, instead of making them jump through hoops. Maybe I've slowly been needing to learn how to use my intuition to figure out where to give, how to give. If you're going to build something with somebody that you care about, you have to give something back. It can't just all be about you. You can't say, I'm in this relationship, but it's all about me. I'm Nine of Pentacles my way through this. I spend my money where I want. I go where I want to go. Doesn't really matter. I don't consider them at all. I manifest what I want, when I want, how I want it, with no consideration for the supposed partnership that I was saying I was going to be developing. So for them, learning how to recalibrate was their big lesson in all this. So they could be generous again. How is this coming back into a union? You notice I'm still like, how? But I don't want to see these characters try this again if a lot of work hasn't been done first, because I just feel like it would be more hurt. And I don't want my characters to hurt. We have Justice upright. Speaking of hurt, where there have been imbalances, things have to come back into balance, right? So where there has been injustice, it has to be resolved. 10 of Wands. And then it's not just about, okay, I'm going to say he showed up as a vacant individual in this because it was all about him. It wasn't about the relationship. So I'm thinking if he's aware, he's the one who had regrets, right? Not her. So I'm thinking that this might be more on his part. How this comes back together is only if and when he chooses to become that King of Swords and communicate. So he would have to be the one who opens up that dialogue. And then the two of them would have to both agree that they would like to like lay down the problems of the past with that 10 of Wands, lay down and so that they don't carry like the guilt, and they don't guilt each other, and they're not angry at each other. There's a lot that has to be cleaned out and cleared out in this. 4 of Cups. And all those illusions have to be scrubbed clean also. She can't walk around and put him on such a pedestal and keep herself on a lower one. They both have to come into this as complete equals, no illusions about that. She would have to be really honest also with herself, because is she going to want to give to them again? There's maybe it would be soothing or healing to like hear from them, but does she actually feel safe enough to give to them again? Is this a person she'd want to give to? Will she really forgive whatever's already happened? Because it seems like there was a lot of pain and a lot of confusion on her part. I don't know. This says both of them have to decide, I think, where the give and take is, and if it could be sincere, and if it could be like in trust. Can they trust? I mean, both of them. This boils down to like, can there be trust between these two? But on her part, if there's any illusions, if she would like to still be with them, but she wishes that all that had never happened and she can't get over it, then I don't see how it's going to be successful. She would have to ask herself that really tough question. Can I really let go of the wrong that was done? So they treated me not very nice, and they know that they didn't give to me, and they did that because somebody else hurt them, so then they punished me. Can I forgive that? If she can understand it and forgive it, fine, but otherwise I don't see this working. I That's a lot to think about. That's a lot for these characters to consider. 10 of Swords and 5 of Swords. It's weird because the universe said that this could be a total 4 of Wands, right? But it says if she has any doubt in her mind about whether or not she'd want to give to them again, then this is it. This is over. It's done. And she's going to walk away from them. But with that 4 of Wands, it said this is still possible. It all depends. It all depends. Like this, there's so much hinging on forgiveness. That's really, but we can't have the forgiveness unless there's been genuine change, genuine healing. It's not even change, it's healing. And it's her that would have to heal. Final message, really, truly final message. I don't get a sideways card. 3 of Swords. In truth, if we could step back far enough, what we could say is that this was a story of 2 people who had wounds. And when you put 2 people that are both wounded into a little blend, they can do one of 2 things. They can help each other gently to heal, or they can rub the scabs off and make each other bleed. And so what do they want to do now? There's that the choice is here, but you don't know that you have the choice unless you have the awareness to know what it is you're dealing with, right? Coming in and knowing that you're wounded, sometimes not even that is easy. 2 people that don't know that they're wounded, don't know where their bruises and their scabs are, they in particular could do a lot of damage, even to themselves and certainly to one another. So this time, at least, if they communicate again, they perhaps are much better equipped because they have some knowledge now. And then if they can communicate with truth and with, sincerity, that maybe each of them had some really deep wounds, that is kind of the only way to maybe really find the healing and the forgiveness for this, is if they can both comprehend, because he would have to fully comprehend just how badly he hurt her. And right now in this storyline, we hadn't really seen it. In fact, we had the hint that these 2 could have a big old blow up and she could walk away from him. If he doesn't comprehend how badly, if he only sees it still from his perspective, like, yeah, I blew it with her, I really miss her. You treated her badly and you really, really did some damage to her. And she was already damaged. And you didn't consider that. You only considered the damage you'd been through. If he doesn't convey any of that, it could be a disaster. So this kind of says to proceed with caution and with gentleness with each other, and acknowledge and talk about each other's wounds, but also be sensitive enough for them to ask each other, did I hurt you? That maybe that's, how did I hurt you? I want to understand so that I know where you were coming from and what you went through. It feels like these 2 are really going to have to be careful with each other. It's still, they could heal, or this could be later, at least I think they can gain the perspective that maybe they were both wounded. But it would be great perhaps if they could have the dialogue with each other to understand it and converse about it intelligently. But that's a lot to ask characters to be that mindful and that aware. But there's hope here. It's just, whew, man, that was a tough one. All right, you guys, really great to see you. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Good to see everybody tonight. I've got to still get to Cancerian tonight. So I'm going to bounce out right now and do that before it gets too late. Last night I was coughing too much, so I had to postpone, but I don't want to make Cancerian wait any longer. So anyway, you guys, I'll see you all tomorrow. Lots of love. Divine Roberts, great to see you. Hi, Lulu, Juliet, Jane. Hey, hey. Sky Blue, Living Water, Shapeshifting Stardust. Hi, Gianna. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. EM Bell, great to see you, hun. Joy and Unknown, hey. Queen Libra 76, hi. I know Jane Santa does look confused back there. April Fresh, hi. Hey, peace and love. Great to see you. Hey, Isles. EM's in the house. Hey, darling. RS. All right, you guys. I will see you. Hi, Samira. Italian Stallion. Always great to catch you, love. EM and Violet, you guys are adorable. Miss Brutifulish. Love your name. Hey, Sabrina. Jojo85. Hey, hey. Absolute Organics. Hi, honey. Brian Van Winkle. T.A. Cahill. So glad you're here. All right, you guys. I will see you next in the Cancerian. All right. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow, by the way. I will be going live 4 times tomorrow between my 2 channels. So twice for members, so 1 for each channel, and then on each channel also for my subscribers. So I'll see you guys for some card pulls tomorrow, okay? All right. Bye, everybody.